Long before they reach college age, this is an effort to encourage reading at a young age and getting kids excited about what's in between the covers of a book. Members of the Austin Early Morning Risers Kiwanis group are reading to local preschoolers this week. And here we see local author Eric Shoars reading to kids at the YMCA preschool program. Now, the goal is to improve literacy rates for young children.
If you look at the developing child's brain, there's so much that is critical in their development between birth to age 6. And this is really a great time to help kids for their future as adults.
And this continues tomorrow. Kiwanis members will be reading to preschoolers at the Austin Community Learning Center.
Members of the Austin Kiwanis group read stories to some special kids at the Community Learning Center today as part of a new youth reading program started by the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation. News Center's Mike Sullivan was there and joins us live from our Austin newsroom with more. Mike.
Jess, former Congressman Tim Penny reached out to the Kiwanis Clubs of Southern Minnesota earlier this year. He asked the group to participate in reading to children. Approximately 110 kids sat down to hear stories about frogs, snakes, and a little girl named Daisy. The beauty of this program is that once the child is done hearing the story, they're given a copy of the book to take home. The Kiwanis group noticed that not only have students shown an increased desire to read, but that non-English speaking parents have learned the language quicker by working with their child. Eric Shoars is head of the Kiwanis group in Austin. For him, it's all about engaging his audience.
For me, reading to kids is not one way. I want to interact with them and involve them in the storytelling as much as, being a passive listener. And I think when you engage children like that in learning, suddenly they forget that they're learning and it's just fun.
Studies show that if a child reads simply 20 minutes a day, that will put them in the 90th percentile of words known. Reporting live in the Austin newsroom, Mike Sullivan, KTTC News Center.
They look like they were loving those stories. Thank you, Mike.
Also in education news today, they probably might not have realized it, but when kids at the Community Learning Center sat down to story time today, the goal was to plant some seeds that would last a lifetime. And as ABC 6 News reporter Dan Conrad tells us right now, while it was a bad day to be froggy, it was a good day to be a preschooler.
And there goes Froggy trying to catch the school bus.
If some of these kids discovered a lifelong love of reading on Wednesday, you can thank Froggy and the Early Morning Risers Kiwanis Club.
But Daisy kept her place on the perch.
What we want to do is to help kids get to a good start so that they're successful in their adult lives. And this is a perfect way to start them on that path.
There's an old saying in education that third grade is the tipping point between learning to read and reading to learn.
It is just a critical time to introduce them to new concepts and books and literacy and vocabulary.
Rise and shine, Froggy, said his father. It's the first day of school.
The Early Morning Kiwanis received a grant from the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation to bring books to young children.
Former Congressman Tim Penny is head of the foundation. It was the middleman between a book company and the Kiwanis.
They donated 30,000 books for this program.
Eggs? Why are you throwing eggs?
And our kids will all take home a free book today, so we're building their libraries, and the kids will be excited.
And the adventures of Froggy might be helping more than just these 4-year-olds.
We are a multicultural community, and sometimes the parents are not proficient in English, and what we found in programs like these is the children take the books home, and it helps them, but it also helps their parents and families in their language acquisition. Falling, plop.
Building a love of reading will help kids long into their academic years.
Dan Conrad, ABC 6 News.
I know that book well.
And kids gathered round for story time earlier today as part of the Austin Kiwanis Club's new youth reading program.
Yeah, we're on a reading theme today. Today's stories involve frogs, snakes, and a little girl named Daisy. The special part about this program is after the kids hear the story, they actually get a copy of the book to take home. The Kiwanis group has noticed that kids have an increased desire to read, and non-English speaking parents have learned the language quicker by working with their children. Eric Shoars heads up the Kiwanis Club, and for him, it's all about engaging his audience.
For me, reading to kids is not one way. I want to interact with them and involve them in the storytelling as much as, being a passive listener. And I think when you engage children like that in learning, suddenly they forget that they're learning and it's just fun.
Listen to this. Studies show that if a child reads simply 20 minutes a day, it will put them in the 90th percentile of words known.